Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do, but it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you, tell me what you gonna do, when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna come for you.
Nigga, this for water, easy, see something Charlie. Little boo God's got him, and I'm gonna miss everybody out of row and flows like eggs. Look to the wild flag and pray for dust, and they play too deep for being sad. Little legs I got to be. Tell me your feature deceased, would it please? Marry me by my grand, when you can't go follow
God bless you, working on the
Back on Wrestling Network, welcome back to the CrosUp. We look back at the week that was professional wrestling. So we will be running through the results and happenings from Raw on October the 20th to Collision on October the 25th, as well as the NXT Halloween Havoc show from Saturday. We will open with Raw. The opening recap looks at last week's show with CM Punk becoming the number one contender, and then the Vision obviously turning on Seth Rollins. Adam Pearce comes out to talk about what happened last week and about the future, but the Vision come out to kind of interrupt him. Braun Breaker has the World Heavyweight title over his shoulder. Pearce gets to the point. The title is vacant, and we will have a new champion crowned at Saturday night's main event. CM Punk has already earned the right to be there and will face the winner of a Battle Royal later tonight for the right to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. Pearce wants Braun Breaker to hand him the title. Breaker asks what happens if he doesn't. Paul Heyman has a quick sidebar with Breaker, and Breaker wants some respect. And to get that respect, Adam Pearce is going to have to tell him, please, and then he'll hand the title over. Pearce doesn't like it, but ends up saying, please. Breaker then hands the title over to Heyman instead, who then hands it to Pearce. Pearce then leaves. Heyman then asks everyone why they are so mad at him and his team. He watches the show, that Unreal show that they did, the kind of documentary that took you behind the scenes. And he says they know they are heels, but they didn't cause Rollins' injury. Heyman didn't turn on Roman Reigns and CM Punk for Rollins, but rather because Breaker and Bronson Reed are the future. He says Breaker is the future, and then he says on top of that, he knows that Bronson Reed is better than Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, as he's beaten both of them before. And then the reality is that Rollins couldn't shoulder the responsibility, and the winners who will be writing the history are right here in front of him. The future is right here, and welcome to Monday Night Raw. We then go to a recap of Dominic Mysterio running his mouth and getting the Judgment Day put into a tag team title defense later tonight. Judgment Day is getting ready when Dom comes in and asks if they have this, if they need any help. Team tells him that they have this and to worry about his own business instead. They should have probably gotten help from him, as AJ Styles and Dragon Lee actually become our new World Tag Team Champions, defeating Judgment Day that is JD McDonough and Finn Balor, when AJ reverses a Styles Clash from Finn into one of his own Styles Clashes. And obviously, like I said, this makes AJ Styles and Dragon Lee your new World Tag Team Champions. We then look at the Usos issues from last week. Jimmy Uso asks Jey Uso if he's happy now. Jey says he's mad at himself last week and brings up Roman Reigns, but Jimmy cuts him off. Reigns isn't here tonight, and the two of them are in the Battle Royal. Jimmy says Reigns has Jey believing that he lost the title because he helped others. Jey isn't sure what to believe, but Jimmy tells him to figure it out. Tonight, Jimmy will go after everyone in the Battle Royal, including Jey, and that's fine with both of them to kind of go after each other in the Battle Royal. We then get Dominic Mysterio successfully retaining his Intercontinental Championship against Rusev via pinfall. He hits a low blow, a 619, and a frog splash to get there. After the match, Penta comes in and gives Rusev a springboard tornado DDT, leaving him laying on the floor as they kind of go to commercial from there. Come back, and Maxine Dupree is able to defeat Becky Lynch once again, but this time it's via DQ when Becky uses the Women's Intercontinental title to crack Maxine over the head with it. And after the match, Becky continues the beatdown and leaves her laying. We then get video of the international tour that was in Japan and Australia. The Kabuki Warriors are happy with beating Io Sky and injuring Rhea Ripley. Now they want the women's tag team titles back. We then go to Paul Heyman. He comes up to Adam Pearce, and Adam Pearce tells him that Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are not going to be in the Battle Royal tonight. If Heyman wants them back in, he can say please. So he's kind of using their thing right back at him. Heyman thinks about it for a second and then does say please, but Pierce instead says no anyways and slams the door in Heyman's face. Heyman then goes to leave, but runs into Becky Lynch, who is pissed that they took out her husband last week. He begs off and offers Lynch a spot on the team, even without Rollins. Becky actually calls him a penguin-faced prick and says this won't work. Won't work on her. Rollins knew that Heyman was going to turn on him, so we'll see what happens when Seth comes back. Heyman will be nothing without him, and they're not worried about whomever Heyman attaches himself to next. We then get Stephanie Vaquer. She defeats Roxanne Perez via pinfall, following a double underhook gutbuster. After the match, Roxanne and Raquel kind of double team her until Nikki Bella comes out and makes the save. We then go to the back. Bayley surprises Lyra Valkyria and says she has a surprise for her next week. Valkyria seems very scared by this idea. We then get Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed not being happy that they're being left out of the Battle Royal. Paul Heyman gives them a pep talk and mentions Brock Lesnar and says things are going to be okay going forward. That it'll all work out. Nikki Bella is in the back with Stephanie Vaquer. Bella gives her a pep talk about having her back, and Vaquer says she owes Nikki Bella one. Nikki then says that's fine with her, and she thinks that she just made common enemies with her, so they should probably have each other's back going forward. And then we got our Battle Royal where Jey Uso wins for the right to face CM Punk for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship on November 1st at Saturday Night's Main Event. He does so last eliminating Dominic Mysterio, who seemed like he was going to sneak one out once again and get the shot at the world title. But other participants in the Battle Royal were Jimmy Uso, Sheamus, AJ Styles, El Grande Americano, Dragon Lee, Ivar, Rusev, Akira Tozawa, Otis, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Penta, Grayson Waller, LA Knight, Kofi Kingston. And then after the match, Jey Uso and Punk kind of have a stare down as Jimmy Uso is kind of cursing Jey from the outside, as Jey was kind of the one that ends up eliminating Jimmy, despite them seemingly teaming up for most of the match. As far as best match, I thought the tag title match with Judgment Day and AJ Styles and Dragon Lee was a really, really hot match to kind of open things up match-wise. And good to see fresh champions. Hopefully they defend them a little more often than the Judgment Day did, but we will see going forward. Again, like I said, I'm hoping they kind of do a draft soon to kind of mix things up, because Raw is in desperate need of some tag teams, and SmackDown kind of has too many. So, but we'll move on from there. We go to NXT. We get the number one contender for the women's title, Tatum Paxley, coming out. She comes out with her group, The Culling. The fans tell Paxley that she deserves her shot that she's getting at Halloween Havoc, and she says she freaking did it. Paxley talks about the lows and she has achieved in the last 4 years, but the people always had her back. Everything is going right for her on the way to Halloween Havoc, and she knows the Culling will have her back as she wins the title. Fatal Influence comes out with JC Jane saying Paxley is the latest person to come after the title. Yeah, JC Jane was beatable to start, but look where they are now. Paxley says that now she's the one no one believes in, but she keeps getting better and better. Fallon Henley says the Culling might leave Paxley after she wins or after she loses. So Izzy Dame calls out Fatal Influence for turning on Jasmine Nix. They argue over whose friendship is stronger, with Henley calling Paxley Tater Tot. And then a challenge is issued for a tag team match for later on, and Fatal Influence is pretty quickly cleared out by Dame and Paxley. We go to the back, and Stax is getting a pep talk from Ariana Grace. She got him the X Division title shot that he has tonight, so they kind of talk about that, and she just kind of hypes him up. We then go to Leon Slater and Javon Evans. They are disturbed by the new couple having a little conversation. And wants some tag team opponents for Halloween Havoc after Leon defends his X Division title tonight. So they will eventually get some opponents for Halloween Havoc. We'll talk about that later. We then go to our X Division title match. Leon Slater retains over Stax via pinfall with the Swanton 450. Post-match, Leon Slater and Javon Evans say they want a tag match. Don't really care who they face. After the match, after that, Laparca and Mr. Iguana come out to say that they want a match with Slater and Evans for Halloween Havoc, and they say that AAA is taking over Arizona, which is where the match will be, or the event on Saturday will be, in Prescott Valley, Arizona, I think is the name of the place. We then get a hype promo for Zachary Wentz. He wants the speed title as he is in this the speed tournament for the men's side. He then has a match and he takes the loss against Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy wins via pinfall with a Black Hole Slam. This advances into the finals of the men's speed tournament to see who faces El Grande Americano. Kalani Jordan then comes to the back to find her clothes thrown out of the locker room. Most of the women say that Jordan chose TNA over them and walk off. Jordan Grace then talks to Kalani and says she's on her side, but Kalani doesn't want to hear it because it's always about Jordan, or always about Jordan Grace, who probably just wants her Knockouts title back. We then get Dark State. They brag about taking out the Hardys, and then we warp to the Hardy compound. And yes, they are broken again. Broken Matt and Brother Nero. They're by the Lake of Reincarnation, and the match at Halloween Havoc between Dark State and the Hardys will be Broken Rules. We then look at Sol Ruka being injured on SmackDown last week. She's on crutches and comes to the ring with Zarya, who asks if Ruka wants to do this. Ruka is sure that she wants to be here, and then come out and they are in the ring with Ava. Ruka is upset and she says she hates to admit it, but she can't defend her title at Halloween Havoc. She's not going to hold up the division when there are so many people coming for the gold. Blake Monroe then comes out and says she'll take the title right now then. Zarya isn't having this because we don't give handouts around here. Ruka admits that Monroe is right, but Zarya offers to defend Ruka's title in her place at Halloween Havoc. Ava agrees if Ruka signs off on it, and she does. So Zarya lays out Blake with an F5, and they will face each other for Sol Ruka's North American Women's Championship at Halloween Havoc. We then get Axiom. He wants the speed title, as well as Sean Legacy, who is his opponent tonight. We then go to Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. They're kind of being spied on by NXT Anonymous. And they're upset with recent losses when Josh Briggs comes in to say that there isn't room for all of them at the top, and it's definitely not for either of them two while he's around. We then get Axiom. He defeats Sean Legacy via pinfall following a Super Spanish Fly. This advances him to the Speed Tournament final with Jasper Troy, and that'll take place next Tuesday. We then get Ethan Page. He is ready to take out El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. At Halloween Havoc. We then get OTM in their return match, defeating Hank and Tank when Lucian Price hits an Alabama Slam on Tank. After the match, OTM puts Hank through the announcer's table. We then go to Ren Sinclair. She talks to Lash Legend. Lash Legend doesn't seem impressed with her. Kendall Gray then comes in and seems to challenge Lash, who doesn't seem worried about her challenge and seems like she'll go through her easily. Kendall Gray is the Evolve Women's Champion now, so she's kind of carrying around that belt on NXT. So we then get the main event match where Fatal Influence defeats the Culling when JC Jane hits the rolling encore on Tatum Paxley. After the match, Fatal Influence sends Izzy Dame into the steps, and then Paxley gets surrounded, but somehow fights out of trouble and holds up the title to end the segment. We then go to our main event segment where Ava has a contract signing for the NXT title. Trick Williams and Ricky Saints come out with Booker T being quite the fan of Trick Williams' entrance as per usual. Trick talks about waiting for his moment, and that's why he's in the main event. That's why he made Saints wait at Showdown, because Trick is the only one who can carry this place. The only thing he is loyal to. The only thing he is loyal to is himself, which is why he's going to become a 3-time NXT champion. Trick signs, and then Ricky Saints talks about how Trick was a big deal, but lost the plot along the way. Saints knows Trick was ready to move away a long time ago. Trick says he doesn't belong on the indies, and he sees someone cosplaying a champion when he looks at Ricky. Then he's winning the title back, and the Absolute Era is absolutely over. Ricky Saints says he's smoother and silkier than Trick, could ever be. And then they obviously brawl, and Saints ends up putting him through the table to end the contract signing. So that'll be our big match at Halloween Havoc for the NXT title. But Slater and Stacks would be my match of the night for NXT. So not much in the way of many matches on that card, but that one stood out for sure. But mostly to just set up Halloween Havoc going forward. But we'll go from there to Dynamite. We open with the Ops. They defeat the Hurt Syndicate to retain their trios titles when Joe gets MVP to tap to the Coquina Clutch. After the match, the Syndicate chased Ricochet off, who had been at ringside, leaving Tony Schiavone to get in the ring to have a interview with the Ops. Samoa Joe is glad to be in San Antonio because Powerhouse Hobbs enjoys the fat women around here. Samoa Joe talks about how he's always hunting for titles and is ready to take out Hangman Page anytime. The Ops stand in opposition to everyone, and they're always ready for anybody to come at them. We then get Chris Statlander. She is happy to be stripped and cuddled with Tony Storm, but now she is ready for Mercedes Moné. The title is set for Full Gear, and Statlander wishes her a happy celebration tonight. We then get Darby Allin, who comes out. He lays the flag that he took up to Mount Everest, talks about how people said he was irresponsible for climbing the mountain. Instead, it meant that he would take AEW to places it had never been before. Darby was never going to quit on Saturday, no matter what was done to him, and he knows the Death Riders aren't going away, and he won't be far behind them anywhere that they go. We then go to the Jurassic Express. They're happy with beating the Young Bucks at Wrestle Dream, and that they are officially back. We then get Queen Amanada and Jamie Hayter. They defeat Willow and Harley, the Sisters of Sin, and Penelope Ford and Megan Bain, and kind of a preview for the women's tag team tournament when Hayter hits Haterade on Penelope Ford. And then after the match, the winners get to choose their first round opponents in the tournament, and they end up picking the Sisters of Sin, which is Sky Blue, and Julia Hart of the Triangle of Madness, of course. So they'll face the Sisters of Sin will face Amanada and Hayter in the first round, and then some combination of those others will face some other teams in the first round. We then go to the Young Bucks. They try to talk Tony Khan into giving them a match for money. Tony Khan comes out and says he'll give them a chance in a 4-on-4 match with the Bucks facing Jet Speed and Jurassic Express. They can team with these guys, and FTR walk out of the office. The Bucks are a bit nervous, but Stokely Hathaway gives them a few dollars out of pity. We then go to Renee Paquette. She is in the ring for Mercedes Moné's title celebration. We then get a parade of belts, and Mini Moné pops up beneath the table. She makes Renee do the Mercedes Moné dance until Moné herself actually comes out to interrupt. After sending the belts and Renee to the back, Moné rants about how Harley Cameron is so pathetic. Tonight is about her, and she is tired of the disrespect. Mini Moné is then sent into the cake, but she is being held by Chris Statlander and not Harley Cameron. Moné is then sent into the cake as well, and then through the table. We then go to Jon Moxley. He talks about how Darby Allin's strength was his destruction, and now it is time for the Death Riders to get back to being themselves. We then get a match with Jon Moxley, but he loses via DQ to Kyle O'Reilly when he's caught in an ankle lock and ends up just blasting the ref with a punch and pretty much knocking him out. And then after the match, the conglomeration runs in, so the Death Riders come in and they have a big brawl. And then it turns into a match where the conglomeration, represented by Mark Briscoe, Roddy Strong, and Orange Cassidy, defeat the Death Riders of Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, and Claudio Castagnoli when Mark hits the J Driller on Yuta. After the match, Pac runs in for a brawl, but Tomohiro Ishii makes the save. The Death Riders then jump Orange Cassidy, but Darby Allin comes out with a bat and makes the save and kind of runs them off. We then Mercedes Moné in the back. She's freaking out about the cake on her face, but Athena comes in and pitches that they tag with each other in the tag team title tournament, and she is in. We then get Kyle Fletcher with Don Callis. They come to the ring for a chat. He brags about beating Mark Briscoe and saying their series is done because he is the better man. Mark Briscoe then comes out to say Fletcher doesn't need to talk so much. Briscoe isn't going to let Fletcher run his mouth because Briscoe needs one more shot. Callis brings up Briscoe having a bunch of kids to feed, and he's sounding desperate. And then therefore, for that reason, their answer is no for another shot. We then get brackets for the women's tag team title tournament. Like I said earlier, it's the Queen Amanada and Jamie Hayter versus the Sisters of Sin. We get Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron versus Mercedes and Athena. We also get Alex Windsor and Riho versus Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. And then Megan Bain and Penelope Ford versus Tay Mello and Anna Jay. So just based on brackets, and I think that's even how the sides kind of worked out too. But based on brackets, I see pretty clearly it's going to be Mercedes and Athena versus Tony and Mina in the finals. I would be shocked if it's not, if that's not the final match. But we'll see, obviously. But I think that's pretty easily and probably most definitely going to be the finals of that tournament. Don't know who will win, but I have a feeling that's going to be kind of where it goes. We then get Mina Shirakawa. She says that she and Toni Storm fight for love, fight and love together, but Tekla interrupts to mock her and ask her for a match on Collision. So Tekla will face Mina Shirakawa on Collision. And then we get our main event where Kazuchika Okada defends his unified title over Bandito via pinfall following the Rainmaker. After the match, the Don Callis family comes out to celebrate, but Konosuke Takeshita comes out to kind of have a stare down with Okada to end the show. That match was pretty awesome and would be best match of the night for me for Dynamite as a whole. Again, this week they did Impact, but they did kind of a look towards the future, kind of a look back at Bound for Glory as well. But didn't have any matches, and it was mostly just highlight packages and stuff like that. So again, I skipped it, not going to cover it this week. But we'll go from there to SmackDown. We open with a recap of last week's show, focusing on Jacob Fatu being attacked, setting up the impromptu title match between Drew and Cody Rhodes. Jimmy Uso comes into the arena and thanks Cody for standing up for Fatu last week. Rhodes asks if Jimmy and Jay are okay. Jimmy appreciates him asking, but he is off to talk to Nick Aldis. Cody Rhodes then hits the ring. He mentions his upcoming title match with Drew McIntyre at Saturday's Main Event. He also includes mentioning hitting McIntyre with the title belt last week. McIntyre comes out, who can't believe the fans are still cheering for Cody. McIntyre lists off a variety of things Cody has done to him and promises to destroy him next Saturday. As for Fatu, yeah, he hates the family, but he didn't do it to him. McIntyre suggests Cody did it, so Cody wants to fight right now. Only for Jimmy Uso to run out and go after McIntyre instead because he mentioned Naomi and kind of shit on just the Samoans in general. Things are quickly calmed down, and then Solo Sikoa and the MFTs head out for their scheduled match that is going to take place first. But after we go to commercial break, we come back, and Jimmy and Drew are still battling around in the back. But then we go to the ring, and we get our first match where the MFTs of Tama Tonga and JC Mateo defeat Shinsuke Nakamura and Phoenix when Tama hits the cutthroat on Phoenix to finish the match. We then get Jimmy Uso talking to Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis then puts him in a match with Drew McIntyre, and it's going to be no disqualification later on tonight. Chelsea Green and Kaylee Ray then interrupt Julia and suggest a merger between their two groups. Kiana James comes in and says, not quite, and Julia doesn't seem that impressed by the offer in the first place. We then get Tiffany Stratton. She defeats Kiana James via pinfall following the prettiest moonsault ever. After the match, Julia runs in to take out Stratton, but then Jade Cargill seemingly makes the save and holds Tiffany Stratton's hand up, but then crushes her with a clothesline, laying her out. And then she continues to beat her down, throw her around, kind of slam her on the announce table, really put a beat down on her, and a good heel turn for Jade. That something that's probably been coming for a while and needed to be done for quite a bit. She's been pretty stale for quite a bit over the last few months or so. We then go to the back, and Sami Zayn congratulates Ilya Dragunov for his U.S. title win last week, and Dragunov says he respects Sami Zayn. Zayn says it's now time for Dragunov to keep the U.S. title open challenge going because Zayn knows he is the man that can do it, just like he did it. We then go to Jade. She's getting interviewed. Is tired of not being rewarded, so she's going to go for the power. that starts with winning the WWE Women's title. So she's tired of not being given the opportunities and fairly, and she's going to take the win and take the title herself. We then get a Dragunov Open challenge, but first he talks about how he didn't know if he would be back in this situation from his injury. He doesn't know how to quit, though. Now he's back, so get him a challenger out here right now. We then get Aleister Black. Aleister Black, he answers the Open Challenge. He's previously answered Sammy's Open Challenge, but this was another really solid match. But obviously, Damian Priest comes out, distracts Aleister Black, and this is long enough for Dragunov to hit Torpedo Moscow and retain. After the match, Priest goes after Aleister Black, beats him down, loads up a concerto, but right as he's about to crush him, Zelina Vega makes the save, and her and Aleister Black bail through the crowd. We then recap Carmelo Hayes and Miz's relationship blowing up over the last month. Hayes is glad Miz helped him get here, but Miz went too far when things got physical. Now it's time for him to work on being him again. Kit Wilson comes in and talks about how Hayes has toxic masculinity and is toxic to the locker room, and they seem to set up a match for next week. We then get Ilya Dragunov walking around in the back holding his neck from his match. Fraxium runs into him and talk about how they would both love a shot at the U.S. title. Dragunov says that's the point of the U.S. Open Challenge. He'll see them later, maybe in them challenging for the U.S. title. Dragunov then leaves, and DIY comes in and mocks Fraxium again for the second week in a row, with Axiom saying Gargano is scared to face him. Tama Tonga then pops in after DIY leaves, and he just kind of makes his weird little Samoan or Tongan noises that he makes at people, and just kind of makes the noises at Fraxium. So very weird. Very, very, very weird situation there. We then get Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. They accept Bayley's challenge for a women's tag team title match on Raw. That's obviously what she was talking about with Lyra on Monday. Nia Jax comes in to suggest they'll turn on each other, and Jax challenges Alexa Bliss to a match for next week, and it gets set up pretty quickly. We then go to our main event where Drew McIntyre defeats Jimmy Uso via pinfall following a Claymore, and then in the no DQ match. And after the match, McIntyre stays on Uso, so Cody comes out and makes the save, and then McIntyre Claymores Cody Rhodes to end the show. Dragunov and Black was the best match, I would say. The main event was also very good, Drew and Jimmy. But as far as match of the night, I would go with Dragunov and Aleister on that one. We'll go to Collision from there. We open with Hangman Page. He makes his way through the back into the ring. He takes the mic, and he's greeted with a cowboy shit chant. Page says, "You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain." Hobbs, Shibata, and Joe, they fought the Death Riders for nearly a year, and they may have beaten them, but they never killed them. Hangman Page owed Joe for his world title win, so he gave him the only thing he could, a shot at the title. He looked Joe in the eye and told him that was what was going to happen. At Wrestle Dream, he knocked Joe on his ass, and he beat him. Joe felt something other than anger. He was embarrassed. In his frustration and embarrassment, the three of them stabbed Hangman in the back. Page says that the Ops have become the thing they fought against. They should have known better than to think that Joe would beat him for the title. They should have known better than to jump him, and known better than to make an enemy out of him. Joe says he was hunting Page, but Page wants to correct his dumbass. Page is hunting Joe instead. Hangman is the champion of the entire world, and he will fight him at the exact moment he decides to. When he finds him, he will do far worse than just embarrass him. Page says when he finds Samoa Joe, he will ruin his entire life. We then go to Pac. He's in, it seems like an alleyway around one of those like barrels that are on fire, in a weird kind of back alleyway situation. He says tonight, discipline maketh the man. This is war, not a battle, a marathon, not a sprint. He will play his part tonight. Tomohiro Ishii will play his. He tells him to listen here, Mutt. He will smoke him in the ring. The Death Riders will still dominate this place, whether you like it or not. And Pac makes his way to the ring they kind of cut to him in the arena, and he makes his way to the ring for the opening match. Pac then defeats Tomohiro Ishii via pinfall after Yuta hits the Psycho knee on the outside, and then rolls him back in for Pac to crush him with a lariat, and then get a pinfall victory. We then go to our next match where Tekla defeats Mina Shirakawa via submission with the Death Trap. We then go to Lexi Nair. She is with TJ backstage. They are so excited for the women's tag team title tournament. They have been trying to build this division for 5 years. Miranda Elise, she's known as the Lucha Baddie, and Nixon Newell, who previously played Tegan Knox in NXT. They both show up, and they say they're two of the best wrestlers on the independent circuit. Says maybe they should come to AEW where the best wrestle. And then Tay Mello says they like a good challenge, so if they want a good fight, they'll get one with them. They don't really say when that match is going to be, but they set it up for later. It's not tonight, I can tell you that much. We then go to MXMTV. They make their way to the ring for their latest casting call. Mansois says MXMTV kindly asked for the for the gelatinous goblinoids to shut up. They are hosting their latest world famous casting call, any combination of MXMTV versus any combination in the back. Mansois then talks about the fans gaining weight, and then says, speaking of gaining weight, and then he goes to the ring announcer and he says, she looks, he tells her that she looks like God told a joke. That's what she looks like, is like if God told a joke. The ring announcer then announces this week's casting call will be a singles contest, and Taya Valkyrie will have to take on the luchador Olympia. Olympia then comes out and defeats Taya Valkyrie via pinfall with a TKO type maneuver. We then get some breaking news for Fright Night Dynamite that's happening on Wednesday. We will have a 4-way fight is signed. Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet versus Hook versus Samoa Joe, and they will be the number 1 contender for the world title at Full Gear. So obviously just a kind of a vehicle for Joe to probably earn the title match, but maybe they'll give us a swerve and go somewhere other direction. But they just announced that just then. Ace Austin then defeats Brian Keith via pinfall following the fold. We then go to the back, and Lexi Nair is with Don Callis. She asks about addressing the elephant in the room. What is going on between Takeshita and Okada? Callis says she's like a high school gossip. Callis says it's just like a sibling rivalry. You still do all the family stuff together, but you still obviously want to be better than the other one. Families have disagreements. They want to pull and push each other a bit, but it's all normal behavior. Callis is an expert in of the inner workings of his family. Okada and Takeshita take direction from him, and what pleases him is unity and belts. This Wednesday on Dynamite, it will be the Don Callis Family Summit, and he thinks he'll probably get a Nobel Peace Prize for everything that he accomplishes during said summit. We then come back from commercial break, and Lexi is with the Outrunners in Dalton Castle, who are undefeated since they aligned. Turbo says the secret sauce is, or that their secret sauce is, and then tosses to Castle. Castle is about to tell us, but we overhear the Acclaimed arguing in the background. Max Caster says Anthony Bowens is clearly being too loud and interrupting their interview. They then walk off in separate directions, and Castle goes back and says, let's do it over again. And then she basically does the old JR thing where she says, we're live, pal. And then they just kind of walk. And then he kind of just finishes the interview and never reveals what the secret sauce is. So kind of a little comedy segment that was pretty funny. But we then go to our next match where Hook defeats Griff Garrison via submission following the Red Rum. Eddie Kingston joins Hook in the ring after the match with a steel chair to make sure that the rest of Griff Garrison's crew doesn't get involved. Their name is escaping me, but it's the college fraternity jock people. I don't care enough to know or remember their names, but there's a few of them, and Eddie was just in the ring with the chair to kind of keep them from coming in. We then get Olympia. She cuts a promo. She talks about Mercedes Moné, and she wants the CMLL championship, and she wants her next week on Collision. We then get Jamie Hayter. She talks about her team with Queen Aminata and that they both have each other's back. They're in it to win it. The Sisters of Sin say they have come here to win as well. If it weren't for them, there wouldn't even be tag titles to fight for. Jamie Hayter says this won't be a cakewalk, and they will walk away with the win, though. The first quarterfinal between them takes place this Wednesday on Fright Night Dynamite. We then get our main event where Jurassic Express and Jet Speed defeat FTR and the Young Bucks when Knight hits the UFO cutter on Matt Jackson. The Jurassic Express and Jet Speed then celebrate their victory as they check the cash in their bag. They won $400,000 for this. And Jack Perry once again gives $1 to Nick Jackson as a consolation prize. And we get a last-second announcement for Fright Night Dynamite this Wednesday, where we will have a Fright Night four-way fight, like we will with the singles men with the tag teams that were in this match. So Jurassic Express, Jet Speed, Young Bucks, and FTR, and whoever wins gets a tag title shot. But the main event was absolutely incredible. Great 8-man between four really good teams. So definitely check that one out. From that show. And then we will move on to Halloween Havoc to wrap up the week. We get the opening video showing the Arizona desert where things get all the creepier at night. And then it shifts to kind of the, kind of standard WWE opening package and shows us what we'll be seeing tonight match-wise. But we open with Leon Slater and Javon Evans. They defeat Mr. Iguana and La Parca when Slater hits the Swanton 450 on Mr. Iguana to get the victory. We then go to the back, and we're told that Sol Ruca gets to be ringside for the women's North American title match tonight, but she can't wrestle. Zarya says it's okay and promises Ruca to keep Ruca's title and retain it for her. Tatum and Izzy Dame then come in with Dame saying she's not convinced, and at least somebody in this room will walk away with championship gold tonight. Obviously talking about Tatum. We then get Ethan Page. He is able to defeat El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. When Page hits the Twisted Grin from the middle rope through a table in the Day of the Dead match, which was a really solid match. Definitely check it out. I was kind of surprised by how much I enjoyed it. We then go to the back, and Kalani Jordan is in her own locker room where Jordan Grace, dressed as Velma from Scooby-Doo, comes in. Says that Jordan has crossed the line and is acting like she's untouchable, but Kalani doesn't see it that way. Jordan Grace then thinks she'll stick around and suggests she'll come for the Knockouts Championship. Kalani Jordan says her reign makes the title more important, so Jordan Grace slaps her in the face, implying that her championship reigns from the past don't mean anything. We then get announced on November 18th and 25th. It is going to be the NXT episodes are going to be called Gold Rush and will involve titles from Evolve, TNA, AAA, and NXT. And the shows will take place in New York. So definitely an exciting announcement for the next few weeks of NXT. We then go to our North American Women's title match where Blake Monroe wins the North American Women's title, defeating Zarya via pinfall following, I'm pretty sure they call it the beauty shot. It's her, double arm DDT. She hits one on the floor and then one in the ring. And that gives her the new belt, and she's the new North American Women's Champion. We then go to Ren Sinclair in the back. She is explaining Lash Legends' recent actions to Kendall Gray and Karma Petrovich. Charlie Dempsey is on the phone and asks about the No Quarter Catch crew, but Sinclair says the phone is messing up and cuts off. Lashton comes in to talk down to Kendall Gray and promises to take her title on NXT. We then get Tatum Paxley. She defeats JC Jane via pinfall following the Cemetery Drive to become the new NXT Women's Champion. After the match, Izzy Dame sits on the floor while the Culling celebrates with Tatum Paxley. Dame eventually gets in the ring and celebrates with them. There was a point in the match where Dame had the title belt loaded up and seemed like she was going to hit Tatum, but ends up ducking, and Jane hits her with the rolling encore. But Tatum does end up getting the surprise win, and then we have our second, probably second in a row surprise NXT Women's Champion. So was not expecting Tatum to take it here because I was expecting a turn, obviously, which seemed to maybe somewhat kind of happen, but not really at the same time. But we'll go to our next segment. Miles Bourne complains to Ava about Josh Briggs and wants a match with him. She says she'll figure it out and is ready to give Bourne the match. But Tavian Heights comes in and says he wants a match as well. Instead of letting either of them face Briggs, she puts them in a match against each other, which they seem to be okay with. And maybe one of them will get Briggs in the future. We then get Deadline announced for December 6th. So that's our big kind of NXT show to end the year with the Iron Survivor matches. Always one to look forward to because it kind of kicks off the start towards Stand and Deliver. So kind of gives you the direction of maybe where we're going kind of towards that time of year. We then get our tag team title match, which is the Broken Rules match, where Dark State is actually able to defeat the Hardys and win their tag team titles back. They win with a Doomsday device through a table. Lennox had been like on a table or on a ladder on the outside, got about halfway up, and then does the Doomsday device from the ladder through on Jeff through the table and ends up pinning him. So Dark State are back being your NXT Tag Team Champions. We then go to Leon Slater and Javon Evans in the back. They aren't happy with their mentors losing to Dark State, but talk about the numbers game constantly being a problem. Evans says they should go for the tag team titles. Slater says he's in, but he's got to deal with some X Division business first. So he's in for a tag team title match as soon as he takes care of that. We then cut to El Grande Americano. He is ready to face whoever wins the speed tournament. He talks both about Jasper Troy and Axiom, as well as talking about his underlings, the other El Grande Americanos. And then we get our main event where Ricky Saints defeats Trick Williams via pinfall following a spear and a springboard tornado DDT. As far as best match for me on Halloween Havoc, I thought the overall card was solid. Nothing really was just like great. I thought the Hardys Dark State match was probably the best match for me overall. Like I said, Paige and Dr. Wagner Jr. Was really, really strong as well. So I would definitely check both of those out if you're looking to watch a match. The opener was good as well, but obviously a little more comedy than maybe a usual Leon Slater Javon Evans match would have. Based on the fact that Mr. Iguana was in there and La Parka, of course, but nothing was bad. I would say nothing was overall great either. I would say the tag team title match was really good, and so both kind of hardcore matches were really good in my opinion. But the main event was kind of just your basic match. It wasn't anything to blow you away, but I would say it was a solid match nonetheless. But a solid card up and down for NXT, which is. Sometimes just exactly what you need. So, but as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out with me on this show every week. And we will catch you next week with Saturday night's main event.
Crowd is here, about to blow.